is Vanir versus Bifrost. Third place versus fourth place. If this game goes to Vanir, they might tie up for the first time on the third place. And before we go any further, what do you feel about this game, guys?
Why are we whispering?
I don't know. It's the voices in my head.
You want to talk about that?
No, I talk with my voices.
I'm emotionally available right now if you need a voice.
Aw. Thank you.
I'm also here.
No, you're too late. You're too late right now. No, you're too late. We're about to jump into Champion Select, and this is going to be one of the best games of the week. I'm not going to say it's the game of the week because last time we said it,
Yeah.
something happened, and I don't want to talk about that.
Haru got 1 kill, and then just the game ended last time we had a game of the week. So that was kind
One
of
kill,
horses.
Nexus exploded immediately.
That was effectively just like the domino of just gone. Anyway, this game is...
What is
as
the
you said-
line we are looking for the most? The deciding line, if you can pick one.
Gosh. I think it has to be bot lane. I think
that's a good shout.
Kavo and Odie are both real powerhouses for their teams. There is also an argument for jungle, thinking about it. Noodle versus...
Go on, C-Boy. He's
C-Boy,
Danish, yes.
because I was like MC Boy. I'm like, no, that is 2 names together. We just saw.
But I think that there's potentially a battle on every side of the Rift, depending on where they take it in draft, because top laners can easily be played for both types,
Very versatile
both sides of these teams. Like, you can go mid-jungle if you want to with Noodle and Sahira. Kevo Quickset versus Odie and Jewel, also a really exciting matchup. So I think it really just depends on where these teams decide to take it. But if I were to give a bet, I'd follow along Nightmare, and I'd say down towards the bot side of the map.
And actually, you look at some of the drafts we had earlier in the day, and we had Jinx going through the entire pick and ban. We had power picks of like the Gwen first pick. Now, I'm looking at both these junglers, and I'm thinking like, well, C-Boy, Noodle, both really good players with the Xin Zhao. C-Boy's been more than happy to just take the Lee Sin and also just trying to outhand them as well at that point. Lots of different ways you could approach this draft. A lot still up in the air.
But with
Veigar for the
carries,
first time.
oh yeah, that could be a thing as well. And I think it's like he's just super good against these comps where it's like super short range. Another thing we saw was a lot of Rise priority in some of the other leagues. We haven't really seen that today. We saw it second banned out in one of our first games today, I do believe. But with 80 carries, can't see for camera, but it looks like both of them has been gone there.
Jinx failures, yeah.
And Caitlyn has been removed as well.
Zeri.
Veigar open, but they're going for the Xin Zhao first pick. So
I'm telling you right now, Mero, you're on blue side, I'm on red, because that's all I can see.
Okay, well, I get to take a break. Well, what you got for this one? What's the counterpunch?
Well, I never would have anticipated that one, and for the love of God, don't pick Senna with it, because it's really a combo I'm not too happy about with. I actually just saw recently Tom Kench in the top lane with Moonstone,
yes,
with Spirit Visage, which is just like this kind of beefy frontliner in your face that just passively regens up your team in a team fight, which is super disgusting to play against. Answer for C-Boy is going to be the Viego, and a lot of 80 carries. I wonder if you want to pick them up now, because if you move into the second ban phase without having picked your 80 carry, you're going to have to grab very deep in that champion pool to find them, just due to the fact that all the STS has pretty much already been removed.
Look, if you are someone that builds Moonstone Tom Kench, if you're someone that turns to that in your time of need, I want you to know we're here for you. We're here for you in whatever's hurt you, so you don't hurt others with...
I'm not emotionally available for that conversation.
No. We have to go to the professionals for that one. But yes, I mean, Tom Kench, I mean, I haven't seen it outside of the support role in such a long time. I don't really know what to expect from anything from that. But the great thing about something like a Gnar early pick, and as much as it has a lot of downfalls, is that it allows you to kind of hold a lot of cards close to your chest and be like, actually, this could be weak side, could be strong side. Allows you to do either. Has a lot of good items you can go right now. It is a Hull Breaker builder, which is mainly the part of that. So it gives Nilla an ability to just be there and go like, look, I'll do whatever my team needs to be, and picks 4 and 5.
Now, this needs to be redemption for me with the Senna Tom Kench, because with Tom Kench no longer being the kind of support that gobbles up your 80 carries in the early game, it really does not offer a lot of peel that allows Senna to farm. And Senna AD was nerfed a little bit as well with her soul stacking from minions from 10% down to 2 point something. Like, we're talking about a very low, slow stacking on Senna if you go 80 and no longer support and at least poke it out. But you get the possibility now to take away either 80 carries from the side of Vanir or ban away some of the problematic champions, because Thresh does actually have high value into these champions now that Tom Kench no longer have a W that eats the 80 carry.
The thing for me about what's already been drafted by Bifrost is that it's really good at things diving into them, right? Viego, if you mess up and the Viego gets a reset on the dive, game is really hard at that point. Your fights tend to snowball against against you, Senna, Tahm Kench. Obviously, when you get to mid-game, they are still a very good defensive combo. They got the heals, they got the ults to save their carries and all the rest of that. So banning out stuff which can outrange you, not commit to that dive style, and then again basically shoehorn them into getting more dive. I think I can understand that angle from Bifrost, but I think there are still options up from Vanir. They have the Victor. They can still play quite a long-range style.
Yeah, that's the thing as well, because you can pair it up with the likes of Jhin if you want to play up towards the top side. You can still pick Varus. We've already seen it one time today, and you can still opt for something that has that long range you're talking about that pairs up nicely with Victor, essentially making sure that you can get a team fight won without even having played it, just due to the fact that you've poked down your enemy before it begun. Now, from the side of Bifrost, I think just picking up a mid laner should be the play.
It's a good day.
It is for you, but you're not on the cast. Imagine you're casting the last 2 games today and you don't get a single Ahri. It's the monkey's paws. You get Ahri, but you don't get to cast any of them.
But the bonus is I don't have to see any of them build items I'm not a big fan of, so I get to mold about that off camera.
That's
and
fair.
what I love about this as well is, I mean, so I look at the Gnar, I look at the Victor, both side lanes, which Ahri is more than happy to burst out. You already have champions to peel back. This is the kind of point where actually I feel like Ahri could go a bit more damage, maybe. We could go a bit more damage.
And if one person wanted to do it, would be Fury, because Fury loved the old assassin style rather than the control mage style. So if there's one guy who's going to go, I don't need to peel my Senna, I need to do damage and build the Ludens, I'm pretty sure that would be the side of Fury. Now, from the side of Vanir, they can round out their composition with an Enchanter, but I mean, yeah, you do have to engage in Gnar, so it wouldn't be too bad having that extra movement speed. It pairs up nicely with the fact that you have a Victor. It's great for this in Sao as well with the brawling. He builds step stance as well, which obviously gives you more shielding value as well now. So all in all, not a bad pick that can keep the Senna shopped in. If Senna is shopped in, she's going to be having a hard time stacking those souls up as well.
I'd like this. So I'd really like this. Okay, so we have Camille now. So now if you go into a side lane as Vanir, just prepare to die. Welcome to Dark Souls, the League of Legends edition, because these solo laners are going to jump onto you if you do not position well, if you don't have vision well. If you lose control of the top side of the map, if you lose control of your mid-jungle, Bifrost have a great way to just sprawl and skirmish out the game. If it comes to 5v5s, a little bit more worried for them.
Yeah, Battle of the Nordics as well. UK Shikari coming up against Finnish top laner Nilla there into the Gnar with an edge for the Camille as well once she really hits that level 6 laid out in the side lane. I think from the side of Vanir, they have to utilize their laning phase in a point where they can cut back how far ahead Bifrost gets in that early game, because I do believe that Nymera is right. Once you get to that open map here and it starts becoming solo lane based, 1-3-1 if you will as well, it can be really difficult for you to find that angle to finally push yourself ahead.
And it's cute to have like predictions before the games appear, but after the champion select,
Nymera's not very good on that, by the way. I don't know if you've been following the NLC.
No, he's not. Okay, final predictions really fast. After the champion select, who do you think is going to take it?
I'm going to give it to Bifrost.
Yeah, I'm staying with Bifrost as well.
They got the ability to brawl. I like it when they can outplay.
I just expect this not to be a farming Senna, but we shall see as soon as we get into the Summoner's Rift with the casters initialize the Turbo Link.
Thank you kindly, oh dear desk analysts. Important match this one, Trouble. 3rd versus 4th.
What have you got there?
8 and 4 versus some notes. 8 and 4 versus 7 and 5. Bifrost currently 1 and 0 in the head-to-head. If they win this match, they get the 2 and 0 head-to-head to their closest rival. They are already 2 games clear, or 1 game clear of the teams below them. They put themselves 2 games clear, and would have that 2 and 0 head-to-head against Vanir, who is that rival, as we said. For Vanir, they win this, they tie with Bifrost. And then they tied the head-to-head as well.
Yep.
This one matters, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, so I'm just gonna go from where the desk left it and say that I do also really like what Bifrost are bringing in with the drafts. I think it's very balanced. You've got the front to back. You've got a hyper carry in the likes of Senna later on in the game. You've got the resets coming in with the Viego as well as having that strong AP damage, burst damage, if you will, coming in from the Ahri. Now, what becomes a little bit problematic for the side of Vanir is that I have found that drafts always been a little bit more difficult to execute. So here you've got a bunch of peel, you've got the Jhin, you've got the Vector, you've got the Xin Zhao, yeah. You've got a bunch of sustain, because you've got the shields again, you've got the shields with the Victor, yes. You have engaged, questionable. not going to get into the back line, has to find the right angles. What really worries me, though, from the side of Vanir, is that you don't necessarily have that damage to take someone down really quickly. You don't have the consistent damage unless your Victor, unless Sahira reaches a full item Victor, where he's going to be shredding through anyone who's even remotely tanky like we've seen before.
Eyes on that then, because you're right, that Victor hits 3 items and it's a different story, but
Make it 4.
Yeah, honestly, potentially with how tanky certain members...
How late game all the Vanir games go.
Exactly, you know, depending on how late it goes, and it's true. Bifrost as well have been doing a lot of their wins in late game kind of scrambles, honestly. Some of that early flair we saw for them has gotten perhaps a touch more inconsistent over recent weeks. It's partly why this matchup getting a bit scarier, because Vanir as well have honestly been on a pretty steady rise through the rankings from being something of a no-name, perhaps I think unfairly.
A surprise, I would say.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But they've stepped up to be a very consistent team, and a lot of that is on the backs of people like Noodle on the Xin Zhao, who's done disgusting things in the early game, was 100% first blood rate on that as a player for the longest time. I think he's still at something like 75%, if my numbers are correct. And that
there's a first blood for Vanir, Noodle is definitely involved.
Exactly.
On the other hand, though, I'm just really excited to see, finally, for the love of League of Legends, Fury on a much more aggressive champion, on an assassin, on something like Ahri. It's very similar to his playstyle with the Akali, right? You can slide in, you can slide back out with the dashes, you can look to get the charm down on a very key target and assassinate them. This is much more of a champion that we're used to seeing Fury do really well on, especially since NLC's last season, where he was playing the Akalis and the Silases, and now yet again onto one of these a little bit more impactful in the early stages of the game, mid laners, I would say.
And it is a little bit of that slight comp difference, the front to back for Vanir, especially if they've got the Mega Gnar and say here on a couple items. Pretty scary when you throw down the curtain call and all the zone control you get with the Crescent Guard, with the gravity fields from Victor. Difficult to deal with, but Bifrost, between the Viego, the Ahri, the Dawning Shadow from across the map, with Shikari on the Camille, can make side laning so difficult. And Seaboy actually coming from an early gank down bot lane, trying to be as obnoxious as possible. Flash for that Spectral Maw, can't quite pair it up with the Abyssal Dive, but it will force Quixith to flash out.
Oi. Oh, that's dangerous, that's dangerous, that's dangerous. That's dangerous, because remember, Devour now is on a much higher cooldown. Devour right now is the ultimate for Tamken, so you don't have it until you are level 6. That means if Audi gets caught in a very sticky situation, all he has to save himself is his summoners. Talking about summoners, Flash being burnt from Quixith, also from Seaboy though. So it's a 1-for-1, you're betting Seaboy's Flash for the support Flash. It's pretty worth it right now for Vanir, and Shikari might be under a little bit of trouble. Of course, I don't think this wave in particular is very diveable because you only have 3 range minutes to play through, but if you bring in 3 teammates, it's pretty diveable.
They're gonna have a couple minions to work with. Shikari can't clear the minions. Here's a teleport, he's flashing away, staying alive best they can. The crunch secures the kill for Sahira. But now Noodle about to fall down. Flash for the charm across the minions. That was sleek.
Oh, that was absolutely nasty from Fury, and these are the plays we're expecting to see from the Bifrost mid laner. But talking about mid lane, take it down to bot because Quixith has no flash.
He's got a chain, can just about walk away, but the flash for that auto secures a trade. And Bifrost make it a trade of kills. And actually, of course, without Fury picking up the kill on the top side, they actually come out in kill advantage here.
Actually, there's a lot of souls to play about. There's souls for the Viego, there's souls for the Senna. It's a very soul-y map right now that's happening. But again, this is a very thin wave. There's only 2 caster minions remaining, but it's not just 2 members from Vanir, it's 3 members. And by the time Fury lands from the teleport, his top lane is already dead. But this, oh my God.
It's sleek, it's smooth, it's slick.
That was beautiful. That is Fury. That is Fury on these assassin type of champions that we love to see him. And again, but Seaboy used his flash to take Quix's flash, and here he's coming back in to cash in for his ADC, giving that Senna a bit of extra gold. This is not going to be a farming Senna, it's going to take a while. So banking in on these kills is just an extra cherry on top, I'd say.
And Noodle, who's involved in the first blood, but it came at a cost, and Seaboy just returns the gank at the bottom.
Pretty low HP. They're pretty low HP. Ooh,
Fury
Noodle.
doesn't actually have the level 6, but does manage to land a very key charm to stop himself being pincered. Noodle is forced out of the Dragon Pit. The last embrace goes wide, but the Abyssal Dive will make sure the Dragon doesn't completely reset.
Yep, this is
a Bifrost get it.
This is a thanks for the leash situation right here, / all chat.
Mantra Q.
There is no smite, there's no smite. Okay, smite just came out. Smite just came out for Seaboy. Very calculated right there. Well done to the Bifrost crew. Sprinted it straight down both side of the map. As you can see, top side of the map is just spawning for the side of Seaboy and Sahira.
That's going to be trouble. He's just very much into Noodle, who was just waiting there. Special delivery. Noodle picks up a kill.
Okay. How many times are we going to say that Sahira is the target of a bunch of ganks and a bunch of tower dives?
I feel like we've said that a few times
if
before.
He's done something well this split is managed them out. And Noodle, he's level 4 of course versus level 6 of Fury. Doesn't unfortunately land the stun right there, which means that he doesn't get that extra damage onto Sahira from that spell and ends up going down by the hands of Noodle as well. So really well done right there from Noodle. Manages to grab, I'm not sure if we grab the kill, the assist right there, but we have another 1v1.
Okay, well, that's the ultimate down, but he'll just get out with the hook shot and manage to escape as Noodle was walking up the river, but Seaboy will now be there. Don't know whether they'll want to contest. Of course, there's a Herald coming, and Quicksilver takes so much damage. The double Abyssal Dive knocked up, not quite knocked down. The final auto won't do it. That is still enough healing. The renewal comes through from the W. And that is enough to keep Quicksith alive.
Yeah,
W healing, OP.
Yeah, that Mantra W was so clutch and so crucial right there to put it onto duel because he would have died otherwise. There was no heal to keep him alive. There's no defensive summoners onto that Karma anymore. But what does that do? It doesn't matter if you kill them or not because you're putting down the pressure. You get a bounce of experience down the bot lane. You get to push another wave underneath the tower, which is a wave that Kevo is going to miss in experience and gold and CS, of course. And then you're banking in onto that Tower Platinum as well. Now, Seaboy is looking for Sahira in the mid lane, who, by the way, did not use his flash in that last dive from Fury. So yes, even though we like to see Fury a little bit aggressive,
Ult's nearly up.
on this particular champion, you gotta land the skill shots.
Ult's nearly up. You can see available now. Can think about it. There is the Harrow path. Going to go forwards. Charm misses, but they land the stun anyway. Flash away from Sahira, and he'll get out alive.
Okay, so here's the thing.
Tell me.
You gotta wait for your Viego to try and land the stun first. Because once you've tried to land the stun, you also have flash from Seaboy, but you can also get a pretty easy taunt after that from Fury. So a little bit of miscommunication right there coming in from the mid juggle duo by Bifrost. They do manage to get Sahira's, however, flash, but at this particular point it doesn't matter because Vanir again are really fast on the rotations. They've rotated the bot lane into the mid side of the map to try and secure that Rift Herald and push Seaboy back into his jungle.
And of course, you're doing it versus Senna Tahm Kench, who are not exactly known for their turret-taking prowess. I'm sure there'll be a Demolish perhaps somewhere in Duel's rune selections, but it's going to be pretty difficult as Nile about to hit Meganark and maybe look for the kill here. Noodle's coming up, but Seaboy will be around. That's a stun into the wall. Does have the Hextech ultimatum, but I'm not sure they'll have time to use it. And Shikari falls for the second time in top.
He was 2 seconds away from having his flash available. He was a couple of seconds from having his ultimate available. Very well calculated by Nila and Noodle to punish the Camille before the summoner is up and before the ultimate is up. Very, very well done. And as you said it from the bot side of the map, they're not known for taking the tower really fast, but that is yet another tower plating that goes to the side of Odi and Duel.
We're left with a very close game. It's about 200 apart. The Herald and Infantry is gold to go into somebody's pocket. Should be, depending on setups, relatively guaranteed. Hard to deny a first Herald push if you've set up correctly. Question is, where do they want to put it? Do they want to continue pushing against Shikari, who seems to be a lot of the sort of recipient of the early pressure from Noodle and crew?
I would say at this point, you have a very easy lane to play through, which is most likely your top side of the map. Start getting Nila ahead. He's about 30 CS up onto that Camille.
Absolutely.
Start choking down that Camille. Do not allow her to breathe at all. And snowball you now on a side lane. Sahira is going to be the recipient of yet another gank. He doesn't have flash this time.
That's a great turnaround to make Fury's life difficult. He can't get in over the gravity field.
Sahira, you're so good at absorbing pressure. What is this?
Playing it so well. Fury just couldn't find a way over the tower, and that Chaos Storm did its job. And in turn, Sahira weathers the storm. They'll back out. Noodle was around to shield as well. And Sahira survives, I think, his third attempt that they've made with Bifrost to try and get a hold of that Victor.
And honestly, it's very difficult. You're playing Victor, you're extremely immobile, you don't have a flash available, there's Spirit Rush on Fury, and Seaboy has his flash available. They have so many tools to pin you down and punish you, and it hasn't worked for Seaboy and Fury. They've put attempt, down to attempt, down to attempt. Unfortunately, it has not worked for them. I think Rift Herald might actually end up going down in the mid lane as well right here, because Dragon is coming up. So if you put that as a point of pressure in the mid side, you can actually push into that river.
Trying to turn this one. Kevo's going to get rooted. They're going to go in underneath. That's the knock up. Here comes Seaboy. Going to continue trying to trade. There's a devour afterwards. And they can try and throw him back to Seaboy. Here comes the rest of Vanir. The trade continues. Jewel flashing in to try and get the kill at the bottom. Fury has got Sahira at the top side. Noodle about to fall as well. The resets come through. And Bifrost chain them all together. The Dawning Shadow comes on to Quicksith. And that'll be a double for the Tom Kench, who is feeding well in the bot side.
Boom! Support who, baby? That was a solo bolo onto Kevo and takes Quicksith's life as well. And this is where the playmaking comes through. When Vanir starts splitting up, when they don't play the front to back that you mentioned at the start of the game as well, when they don't utilize all this peeling and shielding and speeding that they do have to their advantage to peel backwards, and yet they're spread thin around the map, this is where assassins like Arya coming in. This is where clutch champions like Viego come in. This is where the resets start hitting, giving more dashes to Fury, giving more HP to Seaboy, giving more stacks onto that ultimate to Seaboy as well. Again, you see, Kevo is in pretty dash, trace down the bot side of the map, has to pop the heal, has to pop the flash, and then also has to deal with duel. Now, Vanir is split into two playgrounds right here. They're trying to evade the Tom Kench, which takes Quicksith away from the equation and leaves only Noodle together with Sahira.
What is going on here?
3 members from Bifrost.
They're going to go again. Nile's in trouble. They're going to try and get away. The charm goes wide, but they continue trying to hunt. Duel has Abyssal dived over the wall, but that will be the end of that. Bifrost ward off another attempt on Shikari, who's staying just alive right now.
Fury needs an Everfrost at this point.
He's got to be getting close, surely. I'm not
Pin them down so you can land the taunt.
Yeah, he needs to get a hold of that charm. The Herald now comes down in mid lane, but I wonder whether they could have used it in those earlier plays. And while the likes of Senna and Tarnkage aren't known for their shoving, they've still got first tower bot. They're still being able to play this lane aggressively with the combo of the last embrace and the Abyssal dive to knock up Kevo and Quicksith. They'll get some plates in mid. Will Vanir to kind of pull this goal back a little bit, but it's still a 2,000 gold lead to Bifrost, largely around the ability for Odie and Duel to offer pressure.
Yeah, that was a really nice quick play though from Vanir. You put down the Rift Herald, you cash in on 3 platings whilst your Zinzao is invading red buff. He managed to grab the red buff as well. So you're invading the jungle, you're putting down some of your deep vision as you can see over the top side of the map, and you also cash in on 3 of the tower platings in the mid lane. Opening that mid lane tower is always very, very important, especially when you want to move towards the neutral objectives, which are in the river, so you can further your vision into opponent territory. So it was a really quick, good play for Vanir to take some money back real quickly without any consequences.
That was important for them to try and stay in this game, because actually the gold lead has expanded right now for Bifrost. They've got 2 dragons to their name as well. It's an Ocean Soul versus a Viego who's going to be healing up versus a Senna who's already offering the healing and a fair amount of poke. It could get a little difficult if you end up in this position.
Here is where Vanir is kind of screwed if that Ocean Soul goes to Bifrost. Vanir is not necessarily a high burst team. Again, unless that Victor gets to 3 to 4 items where he can one-shot potentially someone who dives in, then yes. But prior to that, you're playing peel. You're moving backwards. You don't necessarily have the easiest engages, the easiest way in, unless Nila finds a fantastic flank. And then even if he does, you've got the Tom Kench right there with a bunch of peeling. He's got the Devour. You've got the Senna as well that can provide a bunch he can provide invisibilities, he can provide it with slows and heals and everything. So it's really difficult to dive the backline and manage to find a kill. So if anything, it's going to be Bifrost diving into Vanir, and then Vanir one-shotting someone with Sahira's Victor once the time comes much later on.
Exactly.
Much later on, though, is not going to be in 7 minutes.
No.
If Bifrost do secure this soul point, and in 7 minutes it's time for soul, then all this damage and the poke that they're going to be doing with the Karma, the Victor, and the Jhin is going to be getting healed up through these back and forths.
It absolutely will. And between Senna and the Ocean Soul, you're never going to poke people down, ever. It has to be.
I'm trying to remember. I think it was Vanir again that
It was.
lost. With the Xerath that lost versus an Ocean Soul.
This is Riddle. I believe it was. It was a mental game. We had the Xerath there from Sahira, and they hit this point where they just couldn't do enough poke. And
You were doing poke, but then it was healed up, so you used all of your ultimates, you used all your abilities, and then opponents were able to push in. So we need to wait and see if Bifrost not going to secure here the soul point, because it's going to be very dire if that Ocean Soul actually goes to Bifrost.
Vanir, of course, if they can set up in the river and secure control, have got a lot of ways to control space between the Karma and the Victor and, you know, Jin and a Meganar being able to stand in front and make things, or rather than Meganar stand in front, not the Jin, clarify that, to be able to control space. But at the minute they don't have that, and they're going to struggle to do that, and then you're into a team of Bifrost, as you've already said, have all the pick in the world between Ari and Viego. Literally every one of those champions can pick someone up, can dive onto you and make your life very, very difficult. So you do not want to face check. And Bifrost are in a position with the way the map is controlled, with the way they've stacked dragons already, to force Vanir to do exactly that, and that is a very difficult position to be in.
Also, major props to Bifrost for all the bot lane pressure that they have exerted with the Senna Tam Kent, already making Senna actually look like a pretty good pick. Duel has to flash, of course, that because it's going to be a lot of damage, and if you're stunned right there, you won't be able to pop the grey health, but that is Sahira's ultimate gone, and with Sahira's ultimate gone, you won't be able to find soul points. So Bifrost are just going to very easily pop down the Rift Herald, move down the river, try to secure soul point.
I thought there with the last Embrace landing that Sahira might be dived onto, but Bifrost go, no, we put down the Herald, it bought us pressure, and that will be enough for us to secure Ocean Soul point without any contest. And we're going to see now that was still a little bit of pressure in the mid lane from Vanir. They don't manage to secure that, though, and all the while, you're seeing Nile shoving at this top side. Fury was there to hold on, and he's going to prevent the Gnar from getting too much more. In the 4v4, Bifrost come on top, they'll shove into mid lane and try and maybe put a bit of pressure onto this tower themselves. But with Vanir around, not sure quite how easy this be, but they might just chase Kevo off here. Difficult to walk up to all of the pick we've already mentioned.
It's just all the safety as well, right? You go forward, you have a Devour. You move further forward, then everyone is invisible because of Senna. You go further forward, you've got charms, you've got stuns, you've got lockups from Shikari as well. It's just so difficult to try and find your way into Bifrost's composition, especially because you do not necessarily have any heavy dive or heavy hard engage.
Gale Force popped there to stop the last Embrace coming through. Curtain Call now being used defensively. The tower still falls. Is there going to be any other follow-up? I'm not sure how easy it is, especially with
here's
the tower
around.
coming through. Oh, good charm from Fury. Prevents Sahira getting in too much easier. Nearly rooted in place by the last Embrace. And all the while, Shikari shoving out the top side, and Vanir pulled a couple ultimates but can't make it happen. And they get the tower and get out to Bifrost.
And that is mission complete. The second this mid lane tower is down, everyone from Vanir that wants to farm in the mid lane is not safe. When Fury's around, when Seaboy's around, when Shikari's around, that can jump from literally a screen away, you cannot have the luxury of pushing your wave too far forward without any assistance. So I think Vanir need to really heavily invest into vision. They really need to heavily play around the vision. It's going to be very difficult. You see how Noodle has to be around for Kevo to push in that wave. You see how Quixote had to be there, and of course you've got to help that mid lane wave to be pushed again because the tower is not there. So if you do get chased down, it's going to be a little bit rough to get away.
It is, and the investment into Nile early got him that early hull break. He can shove up well enough, but it's not winning you objective fights as this Gnar right now. And all the while, the even greater advantage that Odie and Duel got, despite the potential problematics of the lane we kind of mentioned over on the desk before the game, hasn't played out. They're now super strong. You're looking at nearly a 2-item Senna with that Spectral Sictor incomplete. You can see the gold is still pretty well for a non-farming Senna, and that Tahm Kench is mighty ahead of Quixote. Understandably, it is pretty scary right now.
So here's the issue, right? We're like, if Sahira gets the 3 to 4 items, he can possibly one-shot somebody diving in. We have seen real Victor damage later on in the stage of the game. The problem is, you're not going to get to 3 items, buddy. In less than 2.5 minutes, Ocean Soul is going to spawn. So the second you try to put down your poke damage, which is not even yet there, because all you have is Ludens into 1.5 to 2 items from the side of Bifrost, then that damage all Bifrost has to do is move out of the fight a little bit, heal up, and and then come back in. And once you've used all of your abilities, they can just start advancing again. So it becomes a really difficult game for Vanir to play because, again, they do not have consistent damage. Their carry down the bot lane is not a hyper carry. They're playing a Jhin. They're playing more of a facilitator marksman. The mid laner, yes, does a lot of damage, but it's into burst mode. You put down your burst, you use your abilities, you're done.
It's that point when in all chat you just put, don't worry, we scale. That's basically where you're at. Like, if Jhin and Sahira get to 3-4,
I mean,
they can blow people
to be
up.
honest, you
so
can't even say we scaled versus Senna because Senna and Veigar are one of these champions and Cho'Gath that are ever scaling.
Yeah, Camille's going to get pretty scary as well in the later game where you suddenly have a split push threat. It's going to be quite difficult to deal with. And yes, the 5v5s get easier, but if you've lost control of the map, you're still walking into all of the pick in the world. I keep mentioning it, every single champion can jump on the face checker. And I don't think you survived that as Vanir, like flat out.
And honestly, I just really do admire how slow Bifrost have been playing this game. It's very slow, very calculated. You don't necessarily need to blow up the gold lead right here because, as you mentioned, you've got the scaling, you've got the easier composition to play around. You do have the Senna that later on is going to be impossible to deal with. No one's going to be able to get anywhere near you with all the range that you have. You hit them once, you take half of their HP, then somebody else dives in and finishes the deal, right? So you don't necessarily have to rush anything. Yes, it's on a 2,000 gold lead, but once that Ocean Soul goes down, it's going to be just opening and opening. Unless Vanir can somehow manage to find a peak, they need to find someone now. They need to kill someone now so they can create this into a 4v5 and hope that they will take the soul away. Because again, if the soul goes to Vanir, to Bifrost, all they're doing right now, they're looking for duel.
But he takes so much damage. There goes Seaboy's forced away by the Crescent Guard. Odie is taken pretty low. He's going to try and heal up with the Honey Fruit. Not going to need to devour him, but the teleport's stuck coming through Fury. He needs to get over the wall, has to flash over. That's a big deal. That will not be available now for the Ocean Soul.
But they did it.
Fight.
They did it. They pushed Fury away. They took his flash. Now Fury has to back and TP back in.
That's going to be the heal back out. So
where's he going to TP?
They're going to think about TPing. Noodles, remember, got no Crescent Guard. Can still keep chasing. Seaboy going to get rooted in place. They might be able to kill him. He needs to flash out. There's the teleport. Quicksil's in trouble. The Abyssal Dive gets a knock up onto the Karma. Not the biggest, get the Devour, and that will be the kill. In goes Seaboy again. The flash in from Shikari secures another. It's a turnaround. The jungler is traded. Nearly at Mega. Will he transform? Gets the massive Mega! And Vanir, who needs the items? You can still keep trading. Odie still alive. Gonna Abyssal Dive out of the way is Duel to try and keep trading. Fury trying his damnedest to stay alive. Will not be able to do it. And Noodle, who needs an ultimate? Who needs anything else? You could just win the fight regardless.
He's mini.
But look, here comes Odie. Gonna try and come back in. They can try and play it. This bot lane 2v2 that was so dominant in the early game can start turning the fight around again. The hop over, but the Abyssal Dive gets the knockup, and Odie's alive.
Odie and Duel, baby. The bot lane for Bifrost since minute 0 that they entered the Rift. 2-0-8. 5-0-3. They cannot die. Duel is bossing Vanir around.
That's another last embrace. Wait, they can something about stealing it. Duel's going to go in, but he's into the gravity field. Suddenly that means the Ocean Soul is still not done.
Shikari's here.
Everybody back in. He will be able to secure with precision code wall. Seaboy has returned. The Chaos Storm gets Odie. The moment we try to praise them, they're still not going to be able to do it as Shikari and Seaboy do lock down the Ocean Soul. The last gasp from Vanir does not work. But my days, did they make Bifrost work for it?
Whoa!
What's cut out? Try this replay.
We mentioned that Vanir needed a pick. They needed to make this 4v5 because they cannot fight this front to back. That Bifrost bot lane is actually their nemesis. Duel walks into them, eats Quickset, kills Quickset. Bifrost is keeping the rest zoned away. Kevo cannot walk too far forward. A huge Mega Na from Nile going down here, but the very crucial thing is that Odie survives with minimal HP, and that is enough because when Fury goes down, Duel is so darn strong onto this Tahm Kench that Odie has a time to go back, heal himself up with his Q, and of course the other Ocean Dragon that they have on their back, and then they end up winning the 2v2. Nile also goes down to Minina, which is much easier to kill, and honestly, the Bifrost bot lane have been stellar so far. So here, of course, versus squishy targets and versus a Tahm Kench that's very low HP and couldn't pop the grey health right there. He's very, very strong, and he's gonna end up taking both down, but this fight has gone on for so long. Seaboy has managed to run from base. Shikari is back up and available again. And TP's in.
It's not done. Out of the one frying pan and into the fire. Seaboy gets that one. 14 kills to 8 now is the kill score. Trinity Force that course on Nah, by the way. I was looking at C-Boy's items and got caught out. Viego.
Is that another jungle with Hullbreaker?
Is it another jungle? It's time. Not going to be quite that. It is still actually a Trinity Force on C-Boy anyway, so I was right to begin with. Still Duel got caught in place. Not going to get out. He's might abandoned. Well die, but he's so tanky.
He's abandoned.
What the hell? He's still going to fall out. It just takes longer.
Yeah, that was a little bit of an overextension. We mentioned how Bifrost is playing. This game is slow and easy because they know they outscale, they know they have the better front to back. But right now, if Vanir keep making picks like this, with Camille on the bottom side of the map and Ari on the top side of the map, then they have the freedom to push in the Senna however they want. And they're going to cash in not only on on Duel and get his shutdown, but also that very important tier 1 mid lane that we've been talking about a lot. Now,
quick one before you do keep going. Look at OD's soul stack. That's 98 souls at 25 minutes. He's getting incredibly scary right now. And you said that we're scaling for Senna. That's pretty much over the 70 soul mark.
The most ever scaling champion together with Veigar and Cho'Gath. They keep stacking and stacking and stacking, and it just never ends. So if we want to talk scaling, we want to talk damage, if we want to talk range, Oddi's Senna is one of those. And because Duel is playing the farming Kench, he has the teleport and he's running straight into Baron.
C-Boy takes so much damage from the Curtain Call, and Sahira, who needs 4 items when a Shadow Flame will do that. Now the Baron has been reset, but Vanir won't go back and start it. C-Boy will get to reset, and Bifrost won't fall down.
Vanir are looking for a pick right here because Nile is mega now, and they need to use it now that it's hot. And again, Vanir have to look for a pick every single time before they make a move for a fight, because they cannot win the 5v5. You see how strong Bifrost's bot lane is?
That's pretty big. But here they can't quite finish it because the gravity field comes down. Remember, this is a 4v5. C-Boy is not here. He had to heal up. Shikari taken so low. The renewal's going to come through. Stays alive, though. Noodle is going to fall down, and Fury is here alongside C-Boy. The charm lands. Watch at the back of it all. They won't be able to quite finish it up. And Vanir managed to extricate themselves with a well-timed defiance from Quickseth alongside the Flash, but the jungler is dead, and that means Baron time.
It's just so difficult because you can't find a way in on a straight stare down. 5 versus 5. Vanir's way in is just so obvious. You just go straight in with the Zinza. Noodle got punished. There is no smite. Vanir want to fight these. Can they steal?
Ocean Soul means their HP bar is still at full. Nile is here, but a long way off Mega. Where's the turn? Shikari misses the hook shot. The renewal won't land. There is the Baron secured, and now Bifrost might still look for the fight. They're being hunted. Vanir. The Black Mist is down. A flash. Spectral Maw secures a kill for Odin. The Abyssal Dive will just go wide. The sidesteps there. Gravity comes down. It won't punish Duel enough this time. There is the Chaos Storm to force C-Boy to Heartbreaker away. A minute and a half till Elder Dragon, but Bifrost will have the Baron buff to shove waves and set up for that Uber objective.
And again, you have the 1-3-1 going on as well for you. You've got teleport onto the Ari that can push in the lane with the Baron. But yet again, you see how on a 5 versus 5, in a 4 versus 5 right here for Bifrost, if you're attacking them head on, they have the way to peel backwards. Boom! Senna ultimate. Everyone is shielded. Q. Everyone is healed. You want invisibility, you have that too. They cannot target you. And then C-Boy had the time to get out. Remember that Ocean Soul? Yeah, it helped him heal up. He didn't even go back to his base. He used his smite, he healed up from Ocean Soul, and he came back for the fight. So you see now how crucial and important that Ocean Soul was for them. They just walk out, heal up, come back in.
And I feel like time is running short for Vanir. Yes, Sahira is doing a fair amount of damage, but there's a Hex Drinker now in for C-Boy. That's making him harder to kill. Look at the items in for the likes of this Senna, as we said, who has been scaling away. 30 seconds until Elder Dragon. Ari shoving in the bot side, and Vanir, it is getting to last gasps. They are running out of oxygen. They are drowning in this game, courtesy of an Ocean Soul and all the scaling in the world.
And obviously here, when you're pushed into one lane as well, everyone is trying to fight for that CS. Everyone is trying to finish items to try and put more damage down, but then you're all sharing the same amount of gold. Everyone is trying to fight with each other on who's going to get that last item, and in 2 seconds, Elder Soul is up. The entire bot side jungle belongs to Bifrost, and unless Vanir can make a pick here...
Find the Mega Gnar to 2. Odie's about to fall. They've got him, but look at the other side. Shikari has made a trade onto Sahira. Cabo left so far away, and Fury gets it. They thought they found the pick, but the turnaround, so there's a Spirit Rush. Charge still available. Noodle gonna get taken down into the GA. Fury over the wall. Gets the double. That'll be a reset on the ultimate. Nile needs to get away, but there is no Mega. No way out. A triple for the Ari. Are you not entertained? Nymera will be best please.
Ooh.
And the souls are stolen.
Fury on Assassins, baby. Give me that any day of the week. The guy is back with vengeance. They've got an entire wave on the bottom of the map. They've got Baron buff still up and available. They've got 4 members still alive, and the entirety of the Vanir is watching 50s television, baby. Black and white.
Look at Bifrost. They move to 9-4. They move 2 games clear into 3rd place. They win the 2-0 head-to-head against Vanir. It is a gorgeous game, and they are absolutely the victors.
Honestly, what a great game played from the side of Bifrost. They knew the difficulties Vanir were going to have to face when it came to these fights. The bot lane snowballed completely out of control. Major props to Oddie and Duo for playing an otherworldly Senna Tamkens. I mean, if Senna has looked bad in the NLC, man, Oddie makes it look really good together with Duo. And honestly, props to the entire lineup, even with the Camille falling behind, they managed to bring it back. Everyone played up to par, and Bifrost, they take the deserved 3rd spot.
They absolutely do, and what a way to do it. Some rough games in recent weeks, but that certainly wasn't one of them. Back on track, back in 3rd. Very happy stuff for the Bifrost squad, I'm sure, but we have to go to a quick break. When we come back, Archeron will be taking us through some interviews. Don't go anywhere.
It is Bifrost taking another victory, securing that third place for now versus Vanir. What does this mean to Vanir? I don't know. I'd like to know, and that's why I'm going to talk with them further down the line. But now I need to address Bifrost before anything further, because as Naimeda told me, someone finally built damage on Ari. Finally, he was so happy jumping around, and you know that's not something Naimeda usually does. So, yeah, this was a good game for the Ari players, and I would like to talk with the Ari player himself, Fury, on the interview. Hello.
Long time.
It has been a long time, Fury. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing really fine. Okay, you played the Ari. I want to talk about Champion Select and all that, but before that, Ari, is this a champion that you actually like to play?
Yeah, I like Arya a lot. Since the rework, it feels more of an assassin again. And of course, I like to play assassins. It's really nice to just, if you get a takedown, you get an ult reset, and it's really hard to play team fights against it. It's like a bit of a Viego, but a bit of a budget Viego.
Do we have Fury Assassin back?
Who knows?
Oh, come on, you're the one who knows. It's not me. You're on the team. I'm not the one on the team. Do
You will see it in the upcoming games. More, I cannot tell more.
Do you? How do I ask this? If you can't give me a reason, like you can't give me an answer. Do you have other specific champions, assassin champions on the mid lane that you're looking for? Like, are you fancying new champion assassins on the mid lane? You don't need to tell me the names. I just want to know if there's more assassin champions on the mid lane for you.
Well, there's a champion I played a lot in NLC last year, and it was Akali. I don't mind saying it because it was my best champion, and I just destroyed anyone. So who knows? I will destroy in the upcoming weeks with that champ.
It's your best champion right now, right? I know on the questionnaire you told us like Akali is your most underrated champion, is your best champion. It's a auto win for you. So do you still think Akali is viable right now, even though they took away the chem tank and all that? Do you enjoy playing Akali still?
Well, I must say I hated the chem tank build. I think it was so unskillful, so I never tried it, or I never wanted to play it. But for the meta, I think Akali is fine in the meta. I think in some spots you can play her, but she is not in the best spot right now.
Yeah. But now on the bot lane, Senna with Tahm Kench. As soon as I saw that, I was like, oh no, the curse of the Senna, what is going to happen? Is this something that you guys were working on? And it worked wonders.
Yeah, we practiced it through the week, and there were also a lot of AD carry bans, and we kind of knew there's not really anything that's going to punish the Senna TK lane. So yeah, we went for that option, and it paid off.
Okay, last question for you, Fury, because the time is running out, is I know that you know that I follow you on Twitter. I follow most of the champions, even though they don't know, but I follow them. And I realized that solo queue is having like a little bit of a heavy punch on you, right? And mental.
Yeah.
Tell me something. When you play that much solo queue, because you guys have to play a lot of solo queue to practice and all that, even though you guys have scrims, you have to play solo queue to adapt. Do you think that the way solo queue is right now affects you competitively?
No, not really. I just see solo queue as something separate, and if I play well in scrims and in competitive, I'm happy. Like solo queue is just a disaster. I always hate it, but I need to play it right. I'm a pro player, so.
Do you have chat turned on, or do you have like mute all as soon as you get it?
Nah, mute all.
Even the pings?
Yeah, like everything. Just wanna enjoy the game.
I love it, man. I love it. Same mentality, mute all, and just move on with the game. Okay, so congratulations on the victory for Bifrost. You guys are in third place. What does this mean to you right now? Last one.
I mean, so this match was really important against Vanir because they are like one place lower than us, and we already won last time. So winning again is really good for like being on third position. And if we get a tie with them, we are like 2-0 up. So it's yeah, it was pretty good for us.
Love to see it, man. Congratulations on this victory yet again. I'd like to see what happens on the next day. Always a pleasure to have you with me on the interviews. And who knows, maybe one day you'll play Pantheon mid lane if you don't need to win that game. I don't know, because the champion. But thank you so much. Have a nice one, Fury.
Thank you.
There you go. He's back on the Assassins, baby. You know what that means. It's Fury with a kill spree. And also, who knows? Akali will be back. He doesn't want to play the chem tank on the Akali. And I got to say, I like that. I like that. Playing with Akali with tank items, it's something that shouldn't happen, obviously. But now, okay, let's jump into the Vanir side, because obviously this was an important game for Vanir. If they took this game out, they would tie up with Bifrost. So this is why I have with me on the interview Kevo. Hello, Kevo. Oh, not yet. Okay. I see him on the corner of my eye, but he's not ready yet. So this is why I got baited by it. But also, when I was talking with Fury, take that advice, guys. As soon as you go into the solo queue, mute all and move on and just work on your experience. Okay, now I have Kevo with me. Kevo, you got me?
Yeah.
Ah, there you go.
Hello,
Welcome back, Kevo. Welcome back. Okay, tough game, man. Vanir, if they got this victory, it would mean a lot to you guys, right?
Yeah, it for sure was. I mean, losing always sucks, and this is a really important game to win since we could be contesting like the top spots in the league. But yeah, sucks to lose.
Not that we're talking about this and looking into the champion select. They're really blue, by the way. That is. But tell me, you were forced to play outside of the Jinx, outside of the Aphelios. What did you guys? Why did it took so long to pick an AD carry? Were you comfortable with the Jhin on this matchup?
I mean, I'm comfortable with the Jhin, but like the thing is, we're playing Jhin Karma, and since like we fell behind early on, so our lane becomes like kind of useless. So yeah, it didn't really go as we planned, and yeah, the game became really rough. Like the Senatam got out of control really fast, especially when we took the fight in bot lane, and they got like 4 kills out of it. Yeah.
How do you feel about the AD carry meta right now? Because it's either Jinx Aphelios or you play something utility-wise.
Yeah, I mean, Jinx and Aphelios are like the 2 primary ones, like which everyone are playing. They're like really strong at the moment. And then after that, like you can play pretty much whatever. There's like Ezreal, Senatam, Jhin, Varus. But yeah, Jinx and Aphelios are just like above the rest. I mean, there's this area, of course, but that champ is permabanned, so.
Do you enjoy playing Zeddy?
Yeah, it's really much fun. Like it's one of my favorite champs for sure. Really enjoy it.
It's really fast, isn't it? Like it's got a lot of DPM, right? You have to click a lot of times during a minute, right?
Yeah, you do. You're like zooming around, being really annoying and dealing a lot of damage. So.
I know the gameplay. I know the style of play, like to be on the face of everybody, but nobody can touch you. I love it. Okay, looking into this game, you guys pretty much lost every single objective. What was going through your guys' mind? Like, okay, the dragons are falling, even the air, all the turrets. What can we do to slow this down? Did you guys come up with the plan, or you guys kind of lost throughout it?
Well, we felt like we couldn't really 5v5, and since our Gnar was like winning side, we just decided that we will cross-map everything and play for the Gnar and just try to contest us all. And there again, like the fight was really close, but it came down to like to the wire, and we lost the fight, and they got Ocean Soul, which made the game extremely hard to play.
This to me, this to me is not like the image that Vanir showed us until now, and I'm certain that you guys will make up on the next day. You guys are amazing. I would like to see you play Zeri, because to me, when you play, it's more about the hyper carries. When I see you on the hyper carry, it's a menace. So good job on that so far, and I'll see you next day if possible, okay?
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Kevo. See ya. And there we go, Vanir didn't got a game versus Bifrost, so Fury is back on the Assassins. Who knows what this means for the team? Will Bifrost be back on business as they were, or is this like one game? But after this one, we have another one waiting for you. It is Singularity versus X7. Last opportunity for Singularity to actually get into the playoffs, so don't skip a beat. We'll be right back after this short break. I'll see you soon.